Did you know that the most stable thing you know, the very ground beneath your feet, is actually broken? It's fractured into immense, continent-sized pieces that are constantly grinding against each other. And in the silent, slow-motion tearing of these colossal cracks, new worlds are not just destroyed, but born. Welcome, fellow explorers, to our journey into one of Earth's greatest mysteries. Today, we are not looking at what humanity has built, but at what the Earth is unbuilding and rebuilding all at once. We are venturing into the world's most bizarre geography, to the edges of colossal cracks in our planet's crust, to witness the raw, creative power that shapes our world. Forget what you think you know about solid ground. The story of our planet is written in its fissures. Imagine this: the surface of our planet is not a single, solid shell. Instead, picture it as a giant, spherical puzzle made of about a dozen enormous, rocky plates. These are the tectonic plates, and they are floating, ever so slowly, on a sea of semi-molten rock called the mantle. They drift at about the same speed your fingernails grow, a silent, imperceptible dance that has been going on for billions of years. When these plates pull away from each other, they create a void, a wound in the Earth's skin. When they crash into one another, they crumple like a car hood in a slow-motion collision, forging mountain ranges that scrape the sky. And when they slide past each other, they build up tension that can be released in a sudden, violent shudder. This is the simple science behind plate tectonics, the engine driving the most incredible natural phenomena on our planet. It's a process so slow it's almost impossible to comprehend, yet its results are everywhere. In the mountains you see, the oceans you cross, and the very air you breathe. But what happens when one of these cracks isn't just a hairline fracture, but a gaping wound that is actively tearing a continent in two? The answer is not just chaos, but creation itself. And there is a place on Earth where we can watch it happen in real time. Let's travel now to East Africa, to the Great Rift Valley. Picture yourself standing here. The air is warm and dry, and a vast, golden savanna stretches out before you, dotted with acacia trees. But this is no ordinary valley. You're standing on the edge of a colossal tear in the earth, a place where the African continent is slowly being ripped apart. This is a divergent boundary. The Somali plate is pulling eastward, away from the rest of the continent, the Nubian plate. This colossal rift stretches for thousands of kilometers, from the north in Ethiopia down to Mozambique in the south. The ground here has dropped by hundreds, sometimes thousands, of feet, creating dramatic cliffs and a wide, flat valley floor. It's one of the most unbelievable places on Earth, a scar so large it's visible from space. You would unbelieve your eyes if you stood on the edge of the old Doinyo Lengai volcano in Tanzania, the only volcano in the world that erupts with black, cool lava that flows like water. This bizarre geography is a direct result of the thinning crust. The Earth's skin is so stretched here that magma can push through with ease. Scientists believe that in a few million years, water from the Indian Ocean will flood this entire valley, creating a new ocean and turning the Horn of Africa into a massive island. When you stand here, feeling the ancient wind on your skin, you are a witness to the birth of a future sea. This slow tearing of the earth is awe-inspiring, a process of majestic, geological time. But in other parts of the world, these cracks unleash a completely different kind of power, one that builds, rather than divides, and shakes the very foundations of our world. What happens when two of these planetary giants collide head-on? When two tectonic plates, carrying continents on their backs, crash into each other? Neither one can be forced down into the mantle. There is nowhere for the rock to go but up. Imagine the sheer, unimaginable force. For 50 million years, the Indian plate has been relentlessly pushing northward into the Eurasian plate. The result of this monumental collision is the most dramatic landscape on our planet, the Himalayas. The crust here has buckled, folded, and been thrust upwards to create the world's highest mountains, including Mount Everest. This is not a historical event. It is happening right now. The Himalayas are still growing, rising by a few millimeters every single year as India continues its slow, inexorable push. Exploring the world of these peaks means entering a realm of thin air, jagged rock, and spiritual wonder. The sheer scale is difficult for the human mind to process. You are looking at rock that was once the floor of an ancient sea, now lifted nearly 9 kilometers into the atmosphere. This process is one of Earth's great mysteries, a spectacle of natural phenomena on a colossal scale. But these cracks and collisions aren't just confined to land. In fact, the most dramatic and extensive events happen deep beneath the waves, in a world of crushing pressure and absolute darkness. And what emerges from these deep-sea fissures is one of the most bizarre and unbelievable places on our planet. Let's journey down, far from the sunlit surface of the ocean, down into the abyss, where the pressure is immense and no light has ever penetrated. Here, on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean, lies the longest mountain range on Earth, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. It's almost entirely hidden from us, a massive scar where the North American and Eurasian plates are pulling apart. As they separate, magma from the mantle rises to fill the gap, creating new oceanic crust. It's a conveyor belt of rock, continuously generating new seafloor. Our final destination takes us to Iceland, a country that owes its very existence to a crack in the earth. The island sits directly on top of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, making it one of the most geologically active places on the planet. And here, in Lyngva National Park, something extraordinary exists, the Sulfur Fissure. But the most fascinating discovery here is something else. Along this ridge, seawater seeps down into the fractured crust, where it gets superheated by the magma below. This water, now rich with dissolved minerals, then erupts back into the freezing ocean through chimney-like structures called hydrothermal vents, or black smokers. Picture it. In the absolute blackness, towering chimneys spew what looks like black smoke, but is actually a plume of water hot enough to melt lead. And surrounding these oases of intense heat is life. A whole ecosystem that thrives, not on sunlight, but on chemicals from deep within the earth. Ghostly white crabs, giant tube worms with vibrant red plumes, and strange pale fish, all call this seemingly inhospitable world home. Here, in a place of eternal night, a crack in the Earth's crust becomes the source of all life. It's a paradox that challenges everything we thought we knew about biology and shows us that even in the most extreme environments, life finds a way. This is truly one of the most bizarre geographies imaginable. We've seen cracks create oceans and build mountains, but sometimes they create something far more surreal, right here on the surface. What happens when a crack between two continents is so clean, so perfect, that you can swim right through it? Imagine this. You are floating in the purest, most pristine water on Earth. It's glacial water, filtered for decades through underground lava rock, making it so clear that visibility extends over 100 meters. The silence is profound, broken only by the sound of your own breathing. Below you, the chasm plunges into a deep, mesmerizing blue abyss. To your left is the rocky wall of the North American tectonic plate. To your right is the wall of the Eurasian plate. You can literally reach out your hands and touch two continents at once. You are floating in the no man's land between two worlds, in a crack that is slowly widening by about 2 centimeters every year. There is no feeling quite like it. It's not violent or chaotic. It's serene, majestic, and deeply humbling. It's a direct, tangible connection to the immense geological forces that are constantly, silently shaping our world. This unbelievable place is a testament to the fact that a fracture can also be a thing of breathtaking beauty. So, the next time you feel the solid ground beneath your feet, remember its secret. You are standing on a dynamic, breathing surface. The story of our world is written in its cracks, a timeless epic of destruction and creation, of violence and serenity, from birthing oceans and forging mountains to nurturing hidden life in the abyss and offering moments of sublime beauty. These breaks in the earth reveal our planet's hidden heart, And by exploring the world and its bizarre geography, we are simply reading the pages of that incredible, ongoing story.